Over the past couple of years, I've had people ask me what is the best province to study in Canada. Truth is, the answer to that question is not a one size fits all. So, I'm going to be discussing in detail the differences between all the provinces in Canada, including the pros and cons, so that you can assess for yourself and know what is best for you. So, let's dive in. In this video, I'll be talking about the absolute best provinces for international students in 2026. I'll be factoring in your tuition plus cost of living as an international student here in Canada, plus your future goals after your studies if you want to stay back in Canada, and also the permanent residency goals as well. For context, Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories in total. When it comes to study permit allocation in Canada, the province of Ontario usually has the highest study permit allocations in Canada. This is followed by Quebec, British Columbia, and Alberta. But just because Ontario accepts the most students doesn't mean that it is the best choice for you. Latest reports show that Ontario is home to about 50% of international student population in Canada. That would translate to more competition for jobs, more pressure on housing, and also more expensive cost of living. While Ontario is the most popular choice for international students, we also need to dig into other provinces. So let's break this down. I'll start with Ontario again as a province. Why does Ontario win in general? First of all, Ontario is Canada's economic powerhouse. It has a robust job market in finance, technology, healthcare, and different multicultural dimensions to it. So, to most people, Ontario is the most adaptable place to stay because you have different communities and different cultures in one place. Also, the province of Ontario has some of the best universities in the world. Talk about the University of Toronto, University of Waterloo, and other universities. In the province of Ontario, it might be easier to get part-time jobs when you're studying and also get your full-time jobs after studies with your postgraduate work permits. Based on the student experience in Ontario, it is usually easier to get co-op and internship placements in the province. Even with all of these benefits, there is a reality check concerning the cost of living in the province of Ontario. In the major city of Toronto, it costs around $18,000 to 25 Canadian dollars in living expenses alone. Because of its vibrancy and its work environment, lots of people move there for job opportunities, so that would translate to more competition for jobs. You should consider Ontario if you have strong academic backgrounds that can put you in the top universities. Consider scholarship applications as well if you can. Also, if you want a career in tech, in finance, or in healthcare, Ontario might be the best pathway for you. If the cost of living and competition isn't a big deal for you, you might also want to consider Ontario. Also, the province used to have specific pathways for students who studied there. For example, there used to be a pathway for master's degree students and postdoctoral students who graduated from the province. However, that is being overhauled right now because the entire immigration system is going through a period of overhaul and changes. So you might want to check that at the time of your application just to be sure if that is still ongoing. For the province of British Columbia, it is known as one of the most friendly provinces in Canada. British Columbia is known as one of the most immigrant-friendly provinces in Canada. It also has business hubs in there, similar to Ontario. In British Columbia, they are big on healthcare occupations, also technology. You should also research into your field of study if you're interested in it. However, the major city in British Columbia, which is Vancouver, has a similar cost of living to Toronto in Ontario. You should choose British Columbia if you are interested in the healthcare sector, technology, engineering, and data science fields. Also, if you value quality of life along with your academic work, you should go for it. However, it is expensive. Moving on to the province of Alberta. This province, lots of international students are sleeping on it. One of the reasons people don't like coming to Alberta is because it is colder than British Columbia or Ontario. However, the province of Alberta is the only province in Canada that does not pay provincial sales tax. Unlike other provinces that have as high as 10%, 15% provincial sales tax, Alberta does not have a provincial sales tax. So the cost of living is relatively cheaper than in BC and Ontario. Also, Alberta is known as Canada's oil capital because about 84% of the oil production in Canada comes from the province. It is a fast growing economy, so if you are able to tap into the potential of that economy, you might be able to get your results in the future. The major cities in Alberta are Calgary and Edmonton, and the cost of living is classified as mid-range. It's not as high as British Columbia or Ontario. If you're into engineering, construction, finance, and tech, healthcare as well, you should absolutely consider Alberta. What happens is most people start from other provinces, and when it comes to job, they try to move to Alberta. But you can actually start your journey there as soon as you can. Choose the province of Alberta if you want to balance cost and career opportunities. Also, if you're studying engineering, skilled trades, healthcare, Alberta needs you. Also, if you want to build a career in a growing economy, Alberta is your best bet. With respect to the PMP programs in Alberta, you can research their current in-demand jobs or skills that they're looking for. This information changes over time, so I'm not able to list everything here, but I'm going to put a link in the description box that takes you to the occupations in Alberta and their outlook for the Alberta economy, if they are high in demand or medium demand or low in demand, so that you know where to focus your energy on. Next is the Atlantic provinces. This covers Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, and Prince Edward Island. Each of these four provinces have their PR pathways for people who studied in that province and have job opportunities in that province. Some of the schools in these provinces have the cheapest tuition. For example, Memorial University in Newfoundland has one of the cheapest tuition in Canada, University of New Brunswick. So you can look into some of these universities and see how their course aligns with yours. In New Brunswick, for example, they have a pathway for students who studied at least 6 months in the province to be able to convert to permanent residency. However, the federal allocation for permanent residency for all provinces have dropped, so you have to confirm that information before proceeding to that province to see if they'll be able to accommodate you. In general, the Atlantic provinces have specific pathways for PR, and that is a huge advantage. Choose any of the Atlantic provinces if your top priority is to get a permanent residency in Canada. Also, if you want to build connections in the province and grow there, you should absolutely choose the Atlantics. Lastly, if you're flexible on your career positioning post-graduation, you can go for the Atlantic provinces. While the Atlantic provinces are generally beneficial when it comes to your PR future goals, they also have high taxes in those provinces. So you want to check into their provincial taxes, their HST taxes, and every other taxes in those provinces, because that would definitely impact the general cost of living. However, if you're budget conscious and you don't want to also compromise the cost of living, you should consider either Saskatchewan, Manitoba, or Quebec. The province of Saskatchewan maintains the lowest provincial sales tax at 6%. Manitoba has the lowest electricity rates in Canada, so you might want to consider these things. So, compared to the provinces of Ontario and British Columbia, Saskatchewan and Manitoba are lower when it comes to cost of living. In Quebec, especially Montreal, it is considered the cheapest province in Canada. In that province, international students spend around 12,000 to 18,000 Canadian dollars yearly on cost of living. Quebec is among the most affordable provinces in Canada, and Montreal is the largest city in that province, which is actually a beautiful place to be in. It is known for its relatively low cost of living, and also cost of renting is relatively cheap. However, it is a French-speaking province, so you might want to look into that. If you're not a French speaker, research into how you can adapt in the province. For the general permanent residency in Canada, there is now the category-based draw, which is focused on specific occupations and categories that are prioritized when it comes to permanent residency in Canada. I'm going to drop the link in the description box so that you can see which occupations are in that category. That way, you can compare the occupation to the province if that is also in demand in the province that you're looking out for. While you study and after your studies, make sure to continuously build the skills that you need for your permanent residency. Make sure to get into jobs that align with that future goal of yours. Before you finally make that choice, here are the 3 most common mistakes that international students make when choosing their programs and provinces. I'll also share with you how you can avoid these mistakes. Number 1 is choosing a university based on only prestige. It's good to attend a university that is ranked number 1 in the entire world or whatever rank it is on your list, but there are other things you need to consider. Do not just spend over 50,000 Canadian dollars and at the end of the day you have nothing to show for it. Schooling in Canada is very expensive, so you want to make sure that that investment is worth the while. Look into cost of living, your program relevance to the economy, and other opportunities that that program will give to you. Do not choose a program just based off of the university's prestige alone. Mistake number 2, which is very common, is that international students do not plan or do not even have a postgraduate work permit strategy from their first year. What are the relevant job roles relating to the program that you are studying? Don't just be open to all opportunities or tell hiring managers that you are willing to do anything. That is not a strategy. Have specific roles in mind that you're aiming for and work towards those roles. I have a video on the PGWP strategy and how to manage your time as a student so that even before the end of your program, you might end up with a full-time job opportunity. It worked for me. It might also work for you. I'm going to attach the link to the video so that it takes you directly to that video. Take that action as soon as possible. As a matter of fact, by the end of the 2nd month of your program, you should already have a list of job titles that you're looking to get. Go into those job titles, look out for the requirements, and work towards building your skills to suit those requirements. You have to be very strategic. Mistake number 3 is not networking from day one. Do not overlook anybody within your circle. Your classmates become your professional network. Invest in relationships. Do not isolate yourself throughout your studies. Make friends, ask questions, network strategically. I also have a video on how to network strategically as an international student. I'll attach a link to that video so that you go and watch it and take down some notes on what to do. And that video would help you know what to volunteer for strategically. Most times when people complain that the job opportunities or the job postings are asking for experience when it is an entry-level role, I just look and I laugh because sometimes those experiences does not necessarily mean that you have to have worked after school. You could have built some of these experiences while being a student, either working on campus, volunteering in your student union, or other volunteering opportunities relating to your field. In that video where I talked about volunteering strategically, I break down the relevant volunteering opportunities that you should look out for that would help your future after studies. Having said all of that, here is what I want you to do after you watch this video. Number 1, identify your priority. Write that down today. Are you prioritizing costs? You should go for provinces like Quebec, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. If you're prioritizing job prospects in the future, go for provinces like Ontario, British Columbia, and Alberta. If you're prioritizing PR pathways and speed, you should also look into the Atlantic provinces like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Prince Edward Island. If you want to prioritize research excellence, go for Ontario and British Columbia. Just so you know, there is now a category for researchers with Canadian work experience. It was recently added in 2026. So you want to look into that if you're into research. Write down your priorities and leave a comment below telling me which province resonates with you the most. Next step I want you to take after finding out your priorities is to research on the university that you want to attend. Check whether your university is a designated learning institution in Canada. Also check if the program you want to study in that university is postgraduate work permit eligible. I'm going to put a link in the description box that takes you directly to the website where you put the name of the university and the province, and it gives you the list of every school in that province and their DLI and PGWP eligible status. Lastly, if you're attending a college or a polytechnic for a diploma or a postgraduate diploma, make sure that you check if your program is part of the CIP list. That CIP occupation list is for programs that are eligible for postgraduate work permit. If the program you're studying is not on that CIP code list, you will not qualify for a postgraduate work permit after your studies. So do not rush, take your time and do this research. I'm going to also attach the link to verify the CIP code of your program in the description box. The third step I want you to take is to plan your financial timelines. Find out how much your tuition would cost, the cost of living, and start planning for that right now before you apply. Include your tuition, living expenses, study permit fees, and your flight expenses. Check whether your university has entrance scholarships. Some universities give scholarship to high scoring students who are just coming into the university. Maybe your WAEC result was high, or whatever the case may be, they might have that entrance scholarship available. So do your research and find out if you can get that. Make sure to check for other scholarships that are outside of your university and try to apply to these scholarships before you submit your application. Step number 4, make sure to apply as early as possible. If possible, at least 6 months before the resumption of your program. Step number 5 that you should take is start your career planning as early as possible. Once you get into university, start planning your future, start strategizing on the next steps to take. Do not wait until you graduate before you start applying for jobs. Start applying as early as 1 year to the end of your program. Join the student club in your school. Take up volunteering opportunities on campus. Your student association club, volunteer for career fairs where you meet employers, and be very strategic with your networking. And then make sure that you have your postgraduate work permit strategy, at least after the first year of your program. If you've watched this video this far and you haven't subscribed, please click on the subscribe button, like this video, and turn on your notifications. I share weekly videos on how to thrive and succeed as an international student in Canada. I also share valuable insights that will be helpful to you both before your application to Canada and when you're already inside Canada. So please subscribe to my channel and also share this video and this channel with others in your network. Listen, choosing a province might feel overwhelming at first, but trust me, it's not just about finding the perfect province, it is about choosing the best province for you. What is applicable for me might not be what is applicable for you. So do not look at what your friends are going for. Go for what is best suitable for you. Remember, your choice of province matters, but your other choices while you're studying even matters more. Make sure you network, build relevant skills, and plan your career. Also, have an exit strategy. I will talk about that in another video. You've got this. I believe in you and I'm rooting for you. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye for now.